Welcome back to another great episode of In Gear. These are your hosts. I'm the Scarlet Witch. He is Colonel Mustard in the bedroom with the pipe.
I was just going to say that's from Clue. That's where that's from.
It's just another great episode on In Gear, though. We're happy to have you listeners to follow along this journey with us. At this point in time, who knows where it's going to take us? We'll find out at the end.
To fame and glory.
Tommy.
Yes.
Why
Jessica.
don't you go ahead and see if we got any cool emails that we can go ahead and run through?
Yes. Okay. Let's jump back.
This is what I'm looking forward to right now. Hopefully there's like someone in there being like, hey, you guys are so good. Here's a big fat check.
Yeah, I know, dude. All right, here we go. So here we go. The subject is questions to be answered. So it's quite a long one, but some very good questions. We'll circle back to those questions as we need to. So Here it comes. I'm loving the podcast. It brings me to tears dying laughing. Making those work days go so fast. Well, I have a couple questions for you guys. I want to hear all of your answers from you guys, and if you have a guest. Unfortunately, we don't have a guest this episode, but maybe we can use some of these questions on the next one. I know we got another few emails or two in here, so we can go through another one.
Sure.
So question number one. We'll just go through it. I'll read it first. I'm sorry. That's what we're going to do. Question number one. If you are 1 inch inside of your mom and your dad is 1 inch inside of you, which way are you moving to get out of the situation? 2, if a guy offered you $100 to suck you off, would you take it? If not, what would you have to be offered to get sucked off by a guy? Okay.
Yeah.
3, are you guys flat earthers? If you are, prove to me why it's flat. Thank you guys. Keep up the good work. Sincerely, Schling and Schlong Sean, a.k.a. Arizona Can Sean.
See, this kind of shit gives me a headache, man. What the fuck am I supposed to do with this? Give me the first question again.
It's like people think so lowly of us. It's not like, hey, what do you think of, South Africa's current political climate? It's
no hard-hitting, really juicy questions.
No, it's like, hey, would you suck a man off? Would you fuck a hobo behind a dumpster?
Yeah.
It's like these are the questions that people
well, you know what? That's what they come here for, so that's what we're going to give them.
We'll give it to you. So here's the thing. First question. I'll read it to you. I'll reiterate, and then we'll both kind of vibe off that.
I like it.
So number 1, if you are 1 inch inside of your mother and your dad is 1 inch inside of you, which way are you moving to get out of the situation? I know exactly what you're going to say, but go ahead and say it.
Do you?
Yeah. Which way are you moving to get out of the situation?
To the funeral home, I guess. I don't know, but I don't think that's what you were thinking I was going to say.
It's a hypothetical. I'm not saying you have to have your dad's penis inside of you.
Oh, thank you. I was worried there for a minute. The next time I saw my dad, there was going to be some weird action.
No. So what would you do? I mean, like, let's be honest. Let's break it down. Don't walk or beat around the bush.
How would I get in this situation?
I think it might be like one of those saw traps where it's like you either in this and you make a decision, or like you slowly get burned with acid while like getting hit with a baseball bat.
Well, I guess while I'm there, man, I'm just gonna ride it backwards and forwards. Get a little bit of everything while you're there.
I was hoping you were going to say you just move to the side and get out of the situation. That's what comes to head for me.
No, I've heard the scenario before, and what the guy was missing is there's usually you're in a hallway and there's no ability to move left or right.
Oh, so that's how it is.
Yeah.
Fuck, man. So you're going with a little bit of both, just enjoy it and take it for what it is?
I'm just swinging backwards and forwards at this point. I'm there. I'm in it to win it, I guess.
For me, man, God bless my father's soul. I hope he just happens to skip over this.
Wait, now I got to ask you before we go too far into this. In this scenario, do we assume that your mother is still passed?
No. She's alive in this scenario, you piece of shit.
Oh, I'm the piece of shit.
She's alive.
I don't know if it would be better to fuck her while she's dead or alive.
Yeah, dude. It'd be so much better. It'd be great. If she
had already passed away, at least she wouldn't have to be there for that atrocity.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for being so nice to me. So your answer is you take a little bit of both. You're getting the best
If
of
I
both
ever
worlds.
found myself in that situation, there was no gun to blow my brains out with. Yeah, I guess so.
Good. That's gay. You're gay.
Okay.
But that's okay.
I guess that makes me gay.
Here's what I would think. My mother's a saint. And I don't think I would ever fuck. Man, I don't even want to be 1 inch inside of either of them.
Well, nobody said you wanted to be here. That's not the question.
And I don't want to. God damn it. This is not. I gotta be honest with you, dude. There have been better questions asked. I'll be honest with you. I gotta say, fuck. I gotta say, I gotta go 1 inch inside the mom. It's not gay if you're going inside a girl, but it's gay if you take a penis. So for me, I'm going the mom route.
Oh, congratulations. How virtuous you are.
Yeah. So there's your answer for that one.
Yeah.
I'm going mom. He's going a little bit of both. He's living it up. He's taking a little bit of each. So we'll go on to question number 2.
Okay.
If a guy offered you $100 to suck you off, would you take it? If not, what would you have to be offered to get sucked off by a guy?
Well, that would be great. I know immediately you would take it because usually you just get sucked off by guys all the time.
Yeah. So, what do you think? $100, bro.
No, I
buckaroonies.
definitely turned down $100.
I can literally go get. Oh no, never mind. I'll give you $100 to do it to me, though.
No,
Okay, so you're turning it down. So you turn down the $100.
I don't think that's even that difficult of a decision.
Okay, so the next question is, what would it have to be? Someone's paying you to do it to you. You're not
What would
doing
it
anything.
have to be? What was the third question?
No, it's a 2-part for the second question. If a guy offered you $100 to suck you off, would you take it? If not, what would you have to be offered to get sucked off by a guy?
Right, but then the fourth question was something about flat earthers, right?
No, we're not on to that yet.
Well, the answer to the question 3B, if you will, is it would take just kill all the flat earthers, and then we'll let you suck me off.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. I see you.
Yeah.
I see you.
Yeah, see what I did there?
Okay. But I need, for the viewers, I need a monetary.
Why are we
amount.
going to GoFundMe going for this? Is that what we're about to do?
I'm sure there'll
let's
be some
try to get
donations coming our
Justin to
way.
have sex with a man for the right amount of money.
I promise you there'll be some donations coming our way. Just tell me the amount, Justin. It's an amount. Just say a number.
I mean, it'd probably have to be like $5,000 or something. Well, that's easy. Are we assuming the person is like completely like clean and everything?
Yeah, they're clean, but let's just say they're not hideous. They're not gorgeous. They're just your middle of the road, neutral looking man.
I could probably let her go for a couple grand.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it all depends. Like, that's a very circumstantial question. I think it definitely matters about the look of the guy. Like, I mean, if it's Channing Tatum.
I gotta make like eye contact and like
No.
pet his head while he does this or something.
I would hope you wouldn't. I mean, I don't think that hasn't been defined in the question. So I hope maybe you're just doing that for your own pleasure. I'm not sure. Here's the thing. My price. If a guy came up to me and said, hey, I want to suck you off, what'll it take?
$100.
No. For me, I'm throwing it back to when Scotty Boy 5000 was in the episode and he said, what are my debts? I'm not that good of a fuck. I might charge $1,000 a dick. You know what I mean? For me, now I'm trying to rationalize this, what I would need to make it worth my while. So I would honestly have to say it'd have to be at least enough to pay off one of my cars. I don't think that's unreasonable.
Yeah, what are we talking, like 20 grand then?
Not like 15.
No, you're not getting that. You can have like 4,000 or 5,000. That's a nice payday, and you can be happy about
So
it.
no, you're answering the question for me. That's what I'm worth.
You don't get that.
I don't get that.
That's the same as saying, "Oh, I'll take $1 million." No, you won't.
But yeah, you're right. But I'm also thinking like, if there was a price, that would be my price. But I think a more realistic price would be, I think you're right around that ballpark of 4 or 5 grand. 4 or 5 grand. And I don't think that's a bad price either. Get a quick suck job. 4 or 5 grand richer.
I don't even know what the going rate for one of those is.
Well,
and
I
that's
know
if you were to have to.
I know a hooker that'll give you a dry condom hand job for $500. Her name is Tiffany.
Yeah.
So who knows? So we go on to question number 3.
Okay.
Are
This
you
one
guys-
we can really chew on for a little bit.
Yeah. I can definitely get into this. Are you guys flat earthers? If you are, prove to me why it's flat.
Now, Tom, you are a flat earther. Is that correct?
I am not a flat earther, no.
Well, shit, this is going to be hard for us to prove that it's correct when neither of us happen to be
No.
flat
He said,
earthers.
if you are, prove to me why it's flat. And I think we could just basically go off on why we know it's not flat. Do you know why?
Well, I mean, first of all, imagine the level of conspiracy you'd have to convince the world that the world is spherical.
Well, have you listened to like Joe Rogan or what's that other African American man?
Michael Jordan.
No, I think his name is Mike something. He's sometimes on Joe Rogan's podcast and he tells him all these fun facts. He had a show for a while. Fucking not Michael.
Mike Tyson.
No. Oh, is it Michael deGrasse Tyson?
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Neil deGrasse Tyson, yeah. And he always brings that stuff up. And I'm not sure what their opinions are, but
He's definitely a round earther.
Yes.
He 100% is.
And do you think, I just never understood flat earthers. And I want to say for a second, hopefully my sister checks in on this episode, because I feel like for a second.
Is she a flat earther?
I think for a second she was. I want to say for like a hot minute she was.
I just can't understand how you can. I honestly think it's not even like a real conspiracy. I think there are very, very few people, even the flat earth community, that believe it. They think it's just fun to say as a joke.
I mean, from my personal experience, I've flown in, a few, let's say a few, in the cockpit of a few jets traveling the world and in the cockpit of those. And when you're at like 35,000 feet, 30 to 35,000 feet, you can definitely see the curvature of the earth. I always say I'm going to do this. I'll try and get some pictures of it so I can send to Sean. I haven't edit these in here. But when you look at these pictures, you can actually see the curvature of the earth. And it seems like, I think Red Bull had that one thing where they sent a guy up on like this giant balloon up into space.
Yeah.
And he had like a GoPro and he jumped off and it was like the longest and tallest free fall with a parachute ever.
There was like in his training, they expected him to very likely pass out during that free fall.
Yeah.
And wake up. And he had to train to be able to come to and still have the faculties available to, pull his chute when the time was right and everything like that. Can you imagine like falling into the Earth's atmosphere at such velocity that you would pass out?
It's insane. I remember I think we were watching kind of the same video.
Yeah.
Where like they also had to like obviously figure out the worst case scenarios. When he's like falling, there was a chance that like he had to kind of like direct his body like any free fall to fall perfectly. And there was a chance that when he I think it was when he reached terminal velocity, that he could almost just start spinning and he would like spin out of control. And he would have to try to figure out a way to regain his control from spinning like that. And the timing for the parachute had to be perfect. His free fall had to be perfect. And like you said, he had to train for those crazy scenarios. And like if you were to pass out, how are you able to regain consciousness and then go ahead and continue on?
Well, the thing about terminal velocity, as it's known, basically the max speed at which an object can fall.
Correct.
It's not always the same thing.
As in relative to the object's size and weight and mass, or the same?
So all objects will actually fall at the same speed. A feather will fall as fast as a bowling ball.
Yeah.
In a vacuum. The reason a feather will fall slower is because it catches a lot more wind.
Okay.
So when he's falling from basically outer space, there's very, very little wind resistance. So he's going incredibly fast as he enters the atmosphere. And then he comes into the atmosphere and he's going to start catching more and more and more wind as he goes down.
So he'll slow down.
So he would slow down.
Okay. That makes sense.
So that's kind of how that would go with his free fall. But with hitting all that wind, that turbulence and air temperatures, air currents going different ways. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you'd have any idea where this guy would even come down at.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you completely. So, well, fucking, what the hell is it here? Schling and Schlong Sean, Arizona Can Sean, thanks for the email. I think we might have to bring these up to a guest if they're up for it and whatnot, but we do appreciate.
I think we should just go ahead and point out, if any listener actually pays attention, this Sean is not Our technical director, Sean.
Oh yeah, no, this is a different Sean.
Yeah.
This is not. Yeah, this is not our. We don't just have our technical director guy writing us emails.
Yeah.
No. This
Yeah.
is a good Samaritan helping out a good cause.
Well, he does write us emails. We don't read those on the air because usually he's cursing at us and telling us what pieces of shits we are.
Yeah, and usually sending us pictures of his butt.
Yeah. Thanks for the butt pic, Sean.
Yeah, thank you.
We
for
know
that.
you see. That's the thing too about our technical director is because he's editing all this video and all this audio together and making us look as good as he possibly can. He unfortunately has to listen to every second of every episode.
Yes. And
Yeah.
he does a great job at it too.
I think he does pretty good.
He does a great job. So let's move on to a subject that I kind of wanted to bring up that I think we could talk a lot on.
Oh, I mean, we could devote an hour to this.
Oh, So let's just keep going into this.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to know from you, and kind of just we'll have a discussion between each other, whether people fucking think we're right or wrong. No one cares. This is our own personal opinion, and I think we have some good opinions on these. So I need to know, Justin.
Yep.
I want to do both of our top 10 most hated cars, but we're going to divide it up. 5 for me, 5 for you.
Are we alternating?
Yep, we're gonna alternate. So you'll go first, then I'll go, and then we'll go off that, and we'll kind of talk about the car and why and whatever, your argument for it.
Okay.
So I need you to hit me with your first top 10 most hated car.
All right. Top 10 most hated car number. I'll work least hated to most hated. So
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
the 5th most hated car for me is going to be like the 2005-ish era Chevy Aveo.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
It's just so dorky, man. And it's not the very reliable car. It's just the car you beat the shit out of and throw away.
Would you say it was lower than the Dodge Neon or the Chevy Cavalier?
Well, the Neon was, and it had some cool packages you could get.
Yeah, the SRT4, the
Yeah.
SXT. Yeah.
Yeah, they had some pretty decent ones back in the day, and they seem to be a little bit more reliable than these little old Aveos, man. You could just rack up miles on those things and throw them in a dumpster. You could probably pick it up and put it in there yourself, too.
I'm actually really surprised you said the Chevy Aveo. That's pretty specific. I like that. That's
Yeah.
a very niche car.
Well, that's what I'm here for, dude. When you want the hard-hitting answers, you look to Tom.
Yes. So Chevy Aveo, I definitely agree with you. You always see them. For some reason, they're still around.
Are they
People
still making the Aveo? I'm not even sure.
No, they're not. Fuck. I don't know. Google that while
I
you
can
my
do
opinion.
that.
Maybe they are still making the Aveo. I want to say they're not, but I don't want to say they ended as soon as I think. But the ones I think of are the very older, like 4-door sedanish looking Aveos, and they're just terrible. They're always. I feel like it's on that same play as the Kia Cephia, which was like, I feel like that was their Kia's competitor to the Chevy Aveo at the time. Like, you can probably get them for like 10,000, 12 grand. I don't even know what the MSRP was at the time of a Chevy Aveo, but it was dirt cheap, disgusting. But the thing about it was they got good gas mileage.
Yeah.
And it was a good commuter car, like for like maybe like a gift for like a quinceañera for like a Hispanic girl.
Yeah, there you go.
Maybe something like
so
that.
I think there actually was a break in their production, but according to GMauthority.com, they have this article, and I'm just reading the headline here. It says there's an all-new 2024 Chevy Aveo hatchback.
God, they're still pushing it.
Let it die.
Okay, well, Chevy Aveo, terrible. And you're going from your least hated to your most hated, right?
Yeah, so I mean, actually, if I got myself in an Aveo and like I needed an economical car, I guess that'd be okay.
So least hated for me has to be the Ford Mustang.
See, that's something a car guy would say, man. I mean, I get it. Like the Mustang is like, a lot of guys get them. They think they're cool and this and that. And you have your own reasons for not liking them. But it just seems like it's so trendy to not like the Mustang.
It is very trendy. But when it comes to my opinion, like I think like it's so like naive of me to say this, but when I was growing up, I had this auto technical teacher, and he always told me, he's like, I hate Mustangs. I'm like, why? He's like, you know why? Because Mustangs are like tampons. Because every pussy has one. And the more I find these people, and I work with a guy who has a Mustang, and granted, this guy's not a bad guy. He just genuinely likes Mustangs, and that's cool. But for me, it just seems like one of those cars that you can get in, you have some horsepower, And it's almost obnoxious in that sense. And I don't like that. First of all, let's just get it out of the way. Everyone says they always run into cars and stuff like that. The crowds and shit like that. Everyone's like, yeah. I got a buddy, and hopefully he's listening. He's probably going to listen to this, Pizza John. Send us an email, Pizza John, because he knows the science behind it on why the Mustang tends to lose traction and go into cars. It has something to do with the differentials.
There's something to that. I'm not 100% sure to read more.
No, neither do I.
There's something like the differential going on or something.
Yeah, there's actually like a thing behind it on why it happens. But I remember me and you have both rented and had the opportunity to rent one of the new Ford EcoBoost Mustangs.
It wasn't bad, I guess. You know, it had line lock. You could dust the tires a little bit.
It wasn't bad. It was very torquey for a 4-cylinder. I believe it had 350 foot-pounds of torque. And I think you could take me to the books on that. 350 foot-pounds of torque. What was cool about it, though, was I liked the amount of the sensors it had. You could tell like your cylinder head temperatures, your oil temperatures, coolant temperatures, transmission temperatures. Like it had a lot of sensors. Very technological.
That was the nice thing for what is basically the base model Mustang, at least in this era that we're in now. Maybe not so much in the past, but you got a lot of cool buttons and bells and whistles.
And I feel like a lot of people initially were like, "Hey, oh my God, how dare you put a 2.3 liter turbo 4-cylinder into a Mustang? They should be 5-liter V8s, you know?"
Yeah.
But the thing is Mustang came out with the Mustang, I believe, can you Google this for me again? Do me a little research. I believe it was called the Mustang 2x2 or the Mustang 2. It was basically
the Mustang 2, I think that was a 6-cylinder.
No. It should have been a 4-cylinder. It was during like a gas crisis or when basically it was on that brink where like they're trying to make more fuel efficient cars and care about the economy. It doesn't look terrible. It doesn't look good. But I believe it's called the Mustang 2. Is that it?
I mean, this is just a really quick one. That's Mustang's 2nd generation.
So right here, let me look it up real quick, right? Mustang.
Because this says it had a 5-liter in it.
Let me see. Mustang 2x2. Mustang GT 2+2 fastback. Okay, no, that's a $250,000 car. What was it? Mustang fuel efficient. Fuel efficient fucking 4-cylinder. Oh my God.
I think it came out during the gas crisis.
It did. It did. It was fuck. I know there's people out there that
well, go ahead and hit us up, listeners. This is your required reading for the week, your homework, if you will. Somebody go ahead and let us know what it is. And I'm going to throw something out. I think Tom will back me up on this. First person to give us solid information on what that Mustang is gets something cool.
Oh, yeah. We'll send them out some shit. Yeah. If you can give us, whoever's listening to this right now, if you can give us some more information on what I'm talking about, it's a Mustang. Pre-2000s.
It was like gas crisis era.
Yes. Let's just say Mustang. Fuck. Do I want to look up the answer right now? Or do
let's just let him do it. Someone will get something.
So let's not look it up.
Let's not look it up.
Let's we're not looking it up. I know I can figure it out right now. We're not looking it up. So yeah, but it was a Mustang. It had a 4-cylinder. It wasn't that good looking. But what a lot of people don't understand is I felt like Ford really took homage to the old Thunderbirds and the old Mustangs because the Thunderbird had a 2.3 liter turbo in it also. Anyway, I hate Mustangs. I just feel like there's a niche of people around it. I feel like what makes me hate these cars, and I feel like I have a very naive opinion about it, and not as much as all these cars I'm about to list off, but it's the type of people that own them that make you hate the car. Am I wrong? Is there some sort of truth to that?
There's probably a lot of truth to that. You know what? There are a lot of us old grannies that own Mustangs.
Yeah. Yep. So hit me with your next one.
Yeah. So this will be like number 8 on the list, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the second most hated car for me, or 4th most hated car, if you will, is going to be that early 2000s era Pontiac Aztek.
No, you better go kill yourself. Don't. But I hate you. God, I hate you. Everyone says, oh, the Pontiac Aztek. It was such a shitty car. First of all, it had a tent.
Car.
It had a tent, dog. It had a tent option you could buy and you could have a tent. I was thinking about that. I was thinking, Everyone's going to say the Pontiac Aztek. You can't say that about that.
Because it had a tent, dog.
It had a tent, dude.
I know. Who cares?
It had a tent, and it was a shitty V6.
I think it had a built-in cooler, too.
Yeah, it had a shitty V6. It had a shitty all-wheel drive system, but it looked kind of cool.
Nah. It didn't look
Are you
cool.
serious?
It was plasticky as hell. And especially for that era.
The headlights were a little weird. I'll give it that.
I don't know, though. I'll tell you this, though. As much as I don't like it, and that's why it's only number 4 on the list, I could even bump it down to number 5. It would have been debatable. There's a reason that we have all these crossovers on the road today, and I cannot say that it's not at least in part because of cars like the Pontiac Aztek.
Yeah, I mean, like when you look at the new Mitsubishi Eclipse, that's now a crossover.
Yeah.
Like it's not like the GST or the GSX or like one of the older Eclipses that like, the Fast and Furious style Eclipses that everyone's accustomed to with that gorgeous 4G63, right? It's not like those anymore.
I think the new Trailblazer's a crossover now too.
Yeah, it's disgusting. I don't even like the new Blazer. I don't even care too much for the new Ford Bronco. And I remember when the Ford
At least I can look at the Bronco and say they tried to retain some of its old school styling.
Some of its old school styling, body lines and stuff like that. I can kind of get that.
Yeah.
I remember when the Ford Bronco first came out, they actually kind of called it, they were calling it a Jeep killer for a moment.
There's going to be Jeep faithful. I don't think we have to worry about the Jeeps going anywhere anytime soon.
Oh, no.
I think, to be honest with you, if I got rid of my wife's Escalade, I would actually be interested in getting a Bronco and owning, because I already own a Jeep. So I think it'd be cool to have a Bronco and a Jeep.
So I did see one Bronco that I didn't mind, and it was because Ford has that EcoBoost line.
Yeah.
I believe they have a few different engine options.
I think they do.
I know one's a 3.5 liter twin turbo and a 3.7 liter twin turbo.
Well, let me just interrupt you real quick too. And there's the Bronco and the Bronco Sport. I would only be interested in the full-size Bronco.
Well, the Bronco I saw, the guy had the doors off and it had a fucking manual gear shifter there, and he had to have a blow-off valve on it. All I heard was he pulled out, and it was only in Colorado.
Was that the full-size Bronco?
I believe so, but it was in Colorado, and he basically just pulls, and this thing just hauling, just whoopsh, whoopsh, and it sounded great. And it was moving. It was hauling
diesel?
pretty much ass. No gas job. All those EcoBoosts are gas job. V6 twin turbos. I believe they make a 2.3 liter turbo option for that. I could be wrong. But It's like that Ford Flex we rolled up on the STI when the STI was in limp mode running on 3 cylinders.
Thought? Well, first of all, yes, your car was in limp mode. But
3 cylinders.
I didn't even realize those things came turboed. Dude, that Flex, that Ford Flex must have been like, what, a 07, 08
No,
Flex?
No, that was probably a 15. It was on their EcoBoost line. They didn't come out to EcoBoost till I think after 2012.
And I know how you drive, dude. Like, if at all possible, you will drive your car into a wall before you lose a pull with a guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, this guy just went.
Just remember how slow the STI though was when it was running on 3 cylinders.
It was in limp mode. It was
7
running
PSI
on 3
cylinders. Wasn't fast. It wasn't fast. So yeah, Ford Bronco, Pontiac Aztek. I get it. It has a special place in my heart, but I definitely understand that. So now we're going to my next one up, and this is really this is tough. I'm gonna hit it with this one. They started producing in 2012. That's when it debuted. The Dodge Dart.
Really?
Yes. The Dodge Dart became, in my opinion, the next Dodge Neon.
Wow.
You can get them so cheaply. And they had like the rally version. They had a little turbo option for it.
Well, that's why I like the Dart. You get a couple sporty options off that. The Aveo doesn't have anything, man.
No. I didn't like the body styling, and I feel like they became the next throwaway car. They became like the next car that like they're just cheap. They mass produce a shit ton of them. You can buy it for like nothing. You can have a little fun, but I felt like it became a throwaway car. It really didn't take off.
The Caliber to come back out with the Dart.
The Caliber was the Dodge Caliber. Was that the Hemi long looking Dodge? It kind of looks like a wiener.
No,
that's the Magnum.
Was like a little like wagony little car thing.
Oh, I like those. The SRT4 Calibers, those are pretty cool. And there's actually not many made of them.
I don't know if they had an SRT4. Are you sure you're thinking of the right vehicle?
1,000,000% they had a Dodge Caliber SRT4. 1,000,000%. Just Google it.
I'm Googling.
You got it?
Yeah, it did. Yes, it did.
Mm-hmm.
Loved it.
Loved it.
Nah.
But I hated the Dodge Dart. I feel like it just became one of those throwaway cars, just like the Neon. Something you really didn't care about. You can pick it up for cheap. I didn't like it. I didn't like the build quality. I didn't like anything about it. I've had the
Well, you
opportunity.
know what I never understood too is with these throwaway cars, with these cars that are real good on gas, the year to year maintenance costs are relatively low,
They are.
and you just pump miles onto them. That's great. That's fine. It's
That's
never going to
good.
be a collector's item. You never going to want to tune the car. You just get in it and drive and save money.
Yeah.
Cool. And I believe that there should be a space for that. But
Well,
why are they still so expensive? I mean, a new car, no matter what it is going to cost you, even those cheap things. What do you think a new, like,
Mitsubishi Mirage?
I mean, there's no more Mirage anymore, is there?
Yeah, there is. Yeah, actually, you know what? They sell them, I think, for like 16 grand.
Yeah.
So maybe that's not a good
That
example.
should be like a $9,000 car.
I think when it comes to cars like that, like you just said, they pump them out. Realistically, that's a great car to get. Good fuel efficient. You can pump miles on it. They'll run till the day, till the day you die. They're great. But my biggest opinion, I told my father this when he bought he's bought quite a few more cars than I have. You don't want to get in a car where you spend most of your time every day. You get in every morning and every night. When you get in your car, you want to enjoy being in your car. You want to enjoy driving what you drive. You don't want to get in a car and absolutely hate it. You don't want to get in a car and be like, I wish it had more power.
I mean, I can understand where you're coming from on that, but that's because you're a car guy and that's important to you. There's a lot of guys that just or women that just don't care
Point A to point
about
B.
Performance or anything. That just needs something to get them from A to B.
Yeah,
that's all they want. Something to get them A to B for cheap.
I agree with you. Well, hit me with your next car.
Cool. Hey, so I have trouble on this next car, whether to put this one ahead of the one after it or not. But I'm going to go ahead.
My list is getting tougher.
I'm going to go ahead and leave it right where it is. Third most hated car for myself is it could be on your list. That's how much I think it's universally hated.
Oh my God.
The Chrysler PT Cruiser.
I like the PT Cruiser because they came with a 2.4 liter turbo option.
They did after like 10 years.
That was cool to me. A turbo PT Cruiser. I mean,
they turboed the Beetle too, man.
That's cool too.
So anything that gets a turbo is just off the most hated list.
I think when you take an ugly car that's naturally hated and you turbo it, it makes it unique. Like the Neon. You see, how many shitty, disgusting Neons do you see? A lot.
You're really hating on the Neon right now.
But you see a lot of nice SRT4s. And
you don't see any nice SRT4s anymore. Any SRT4 from like, when did they come out with that? Like 2002?
Oh, yeah. 2004.
They've been beat to hell.
But I've seen the clean ones are nice. I've seen clean ones. They are nice. I just don't like the PT Cruiser. It looked weird. And I get that. I was actually going to buy one and I wanted to like do some cool stuff to it. And it was down the road and I wanted to get it. I wanted to do some fun things with it. But yeah, dude, I don't know. Like the PT Cruiser, I get why it's hated. A lot of people hate it.
Well,
it is like
I don't know the exact numbers, but I'd say somewhere around 90% of people or more did not get the turbo option PT Cruiser. Yeah. And for those people, they got a car that was a slug, not even that good on gas.
No, it shared the same engine as the Dodge Stratus.
Yeah.
And I believe the Chevy Cavalier had the same one also, 2.4 liter Ecotec. Chevy, Dodge. Not the same.
They wouldn't have shared engines, I doubt, unless they had some sort of cooperation deal.
No, but it was the Dodge, a Chrysler Dodge.
Chrysler Dodge, yeah, the
Dodge
Stratus, I think the 300
liter, yeah.
had it. The Sebring, as a matter of fact, I think they were still doing the Sebring back then.
Yeah. The Sebring came in a 4-cylinder and a V6 option.
The Sebring, those were all right though. And you get the convertible top on those.
Yeah, they weren't bad. They were kind of long for me. I felt like they were a little longer.
It's like, it's luxury, but it doesn't cost you like 45 grand like a nice Mercedes would back in the day.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree with you. So I'm having difficulty, and I'm assuming the last car we say is the most hated one, right?
That's the way it should be.
So I'm gonna go with a little niche car here that is very just my own opinion and very douchey. You might have to Google this. I don't know if you're aware of it. The Infiniti G36 Coupe. It's a coupe. They sound kind of nice. I believe they share the same platform as the Nissan. Is it the GTR? The 36.
You know what that looks like to me? I've seen these now that you mention it. Does that share some similarity in body lines to the Z?
It does. It does. And I actually want to Google this. What engine does the Infinity G36 share? Because there's some specific car.
Is Infinity like
Okay, so the
like-
Nissan 350Z and the Infinity G35 made their original debut with the VQ series engine. Yep.
Okay,
And-
so Infinity and Nissan are tied together much like Lincoln and Ford might be. Or
Yes.
GMC and Chevy.
Yep. So let me look here. Infinity G36. Oh, I'm wrong. Am I wrong? I am. So wrong. I fucked up so bad.
I thought so.
It's a G35, but
Oh.
I think it's a Lexus G, the Q36. Maybe I'm mistaken, but I'm referring to the Infinity G35. That's what I'm referring to. It shares, it's like the Z. It's like the luxury Z. And I don't like it. I've met so many douchey dudes that buy one, and they all sound the same. You know, whenever you're using one of those VQ engines, you put an exhaust on it. It always sounds, you can tell a VQ engine, especially when it comes to cars like the 350Z.
You want a bonus car?
What? A bonus car? Yeah.
I got a bonus car just popped into my head.
Bonus car me right now.
I owned one of these. I thought it was going to be the coolest thing ever when I bought it. You ready?
Wait. See me?
Yeah.
Yes, I'm ready.
You're not ready. I'll just wait. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. So, bonus car here. Just one that popped into my head. Feel free to disagree, but I don't think you will. Not for any reliability reasons or even because it was kind of dorky. In fact, I think it was liked by a lot of people. But the Hyundai Tiburon.
Oh, I had one. I had an earlier
You had
one
a
than you,
Tiburon
though.
too?
Yeah.
I had
didn't
like a
have the
special
year you
edition
had.
one, dude.
Mine had like the 2 circular headlights. It was an older one, 4-cylinder.
Mine was a 6-cylinder.
Yeah. I heard they weren't as fast as people expect them to be, but they
That's
weren't
the problem.
slow.
Is they're so heavy, and that 6-cylinder did not create enough power to make up for that weight issue.
Yeah, so I had
And
the
then the back
4-cylinder.
seats were useless, as a lot of sports
Yep.
coupes are.
Yep. I don't mind it. I don't mind the Tiburon. I never loved it. I never hated it. I feel like I was super neutral on the Tiburon. I had the 4-cylinder.
I
You
think
had the
it
V6.
just could have been so much more than it was, and it just wasn't. I think that's why I didn't like
I
it.
remember growing up as a teenager, though, I felt like I wanted a Tiburon because I felt like they were fast because they looked fast.
Yeah, I think they actually looked really cool. But like I
Yeah.
said, I think the problem for me and the thing that kind of really just disappointed me is I think it looked cool. It could have been something really cool, maybe something you could tune and make fast, but it just wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a lot of like aftermarket support for that car because there's so many people that want to take other cars and do things with them, and the Tiburon is really hardly on that list at all. You don't see no Tiburons in the Fast and Furious.
Or do you?
I don't know. Hit us up, In Gear fans. Let us know if there's a Tiburon in Fast and Furious.
Yeah. So, yeah, I agree with you on the Tiburon. Don't hate it. Don't love it, but I'm kind of neutral on it.
I
What's
guess
your
I was
next?
just disappointed by my Tiburon.
Yeah.
And I had like
Yeah.
a special edition, man. It came with like custom seats and all this shit.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
6-speed manual.
That's
And
kind
I
of dope.
put subs in it and like a whole like light kit and made it fucking obnoxious.
Ricey.
Yeah.
That's dope as fuck. Well, what's your next car?
All right, that was a bonus car. So we're going to go ahead and move on to what will be my second most hated car.
Mm-hmm.
And see, I could have moved the Cruiser ahead of this one, but I could even switch this one and the first most hated car. I'm
I know
getting
it's
down
tough,
to some
dude.
I'm getting down to some cars I really don't like. See, I've already switched it again. I'm going to leave it where it's at right now in my head. The second most hated car for me is the Dodge Cummins.
Really?
Oh my God. Maybe I
Any
don't know.
generation?
What?
Any generation?
The older ones are much more sought out than the newer ones
Yeah.
are. But you know them Cummins boys, man, those stereotypical roll coal boys.
Yeah.
Oh my God, man.
Yeah. Dude,
So
I hate
obnoxious.
that shit, dude. Dude, can I just roll into my next one real quick? Because we'll talk about it.
Yeah.
My next one, I literally have here written any lifted truck. Any lifted truck.
See, now I don't agree
Specifically
with
Toyota
that.
Tacomas.
I don't agree with any lifted truck, and here's why. Some trucks ride height typically is a little bit low. So if you want to bring it up just a couple
With a
inches
leveling kit. I can understand leveling
to get
kit.
the stance that looks a little more presentable, and maybe you're doing a little off-roading and you want that, or you're going hunting even. But when you bring that truck a foot or more up into the air, what does it do? You've just eliminated the biggest feature you have when you get a pickup truck, which is the bed. Am I going to lift the sofa over my head
That's what I'm
to
saying.
put it in the back of the truck?
I grew up in a very redneck high school town, and all I saw was lifted trucks. And I felt like to myself, I was like, and I even see like lifted trucks all the time now. I'm like, hey, like, yeah, your truck's pretty tall and lifted. Like, are you hauling like a lot of weight, a lot of horse trailers? Like, do you really need that much suspension because of what you're doing? Like,
No.
it almost becomes unusable.
No.
Why do you want to lift a couch way above your head? And that's why I think the Ford Ranger is one of the better trucks, because it was like
the Ford Ranger, man.
Waist height.
And we're not talking the new one, I think. You'll
Old
agree
one.
with me. We're talking that old school.
The new ones are too
Actually,
big.
the new Ranger is not bad.
No, but I just think they're now, like, if you think about our old Rangers, because I had a 93, and I think you had an 86 or something like that.
89.
89. And those older ones, like, that was like that. I feel like that was the perfect size. Now the Ford Ranger is like equivalent to like a full size truck. It's no longer that tiny mini small truck like the Chevy S10 was, or the GMC Sonoma, or the old Toyota Tacomas.
I'll tell you what might have replaced it is that new Maverick they got.
Yeah, the Maverick. The Maverick's tiny.
The Maverick's small.
Yeah, I feel like the Maverick's
one.
No,
you can get one with some pretty decent options on there.
So they came with a 2-liter all-wheel drive option or a 2.5-liter turbo.
The only problem with it is if you get the base model, it's still pretty expensive, you know. And as far as like basically a stripped out, very small truck, you want to get that for cheap. I'd say not much more than your economy class car.
Yeah, and I feel like the price point, given inflation and the way cars are going, obviously cars nowadays are more expensive than they were. That's just a given. I remember I bought my first Ranger for $300, you know, but
I think mine was like 800 or something.
Yeah, that's what you can get. Mine had a transmission issue. So I think at the end of it, I was probably into it about $800.
There you go.
At the end of it, 5-speed, 4-cylinder, 2-wheel drive, you know,
no power.
No, none.
But you don't need it.
None. But the thing is I felt like it kind of like, you know, it kind of surprised me sometimes. We used to have heating oil for my house, and I would load it up with big tanks and drive it over and fill it up with heating oil. And it did, you know, in first, second gear, like you're not going anywhere fast with a load in it. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But we had this one dude in high school named Kevin Shamara, and he did scrap. He looked like he grew up in a junkyard, just torn jeans, disgusting, had to dip in, retarded. He is stupid. He is dumb. But he had a 4-cylinder Ford Ranger, and he would come into high school like on his day. He would be making a scrap run on like a Friday afternoon, right?
Yeah.
And he'd come to school and he would have this 4-cylinder Ford Ranger with a mountain of like wood stoves and dishwashers and things. And he would literally just beat the piss out of this thing and it would still go. And they were very reliable. And I loved my Ford Ranger. But I feel like the Ford Maverick pays more homage to the Ford Ranger in size comparison.
I would agree.
Than the new Ford Ranger pays homage to the old Ford Ranger, right?
I would agree.
Because these new Ford Rangers, they're pretty large. When you look at the GMC Canyon and how they used to be, straight 5-cylinder, you know, decent sized truck, not big, maybe equivalent size to like a 4-liter or a 3-liter Ranger, you know, when the larger ones, the 4-wheel drive. Now you look at the new GMC Canyon, to me, that's almost like a full-size truck. That's getting pretty big, you know?
I agree.
Not the biggest ones. We're not talking like it's a GMC 2500 Denali pickup truck, right?
No,
but
it's
a decent-sized truck.
Yeah.
It'll do what you got to do. And, you know, so that's my opinion about it, you know? I don't like lifted trucks. I have a bad taste in my mouth because every stump humper I've ever met just has a lifted truck to have a lifted truck. You know what comes with lifted trucks? You know what comes with a lifted truck?
What?
Truck sluts. Dirty redneck women that will only fuck you because you have a lifted truck. And I've grown up with some, I actually work with one and she's disgusting. And she has told me, hey, I don't care how good looking you are. If you have a lifted 89 Ford F-150, I'll fuck you because it's old jalopy disgusting.
Wow, that's cool.
She is a self-proclaimed truck slut, and it's disgusting. And
that's cool. I think I'm going to put a lift on my Jeep, so if I could get her number, that'd be great.
I'll send it your way.
Yeah. Hey, did you give us your second hated vehicle?
I did. Now it's your turn because I rolled in the Toyota. We didn't even touch on real quick. I'll touch on real quick. Toyota Tacoma. I think it's a decent truck. I think it's reliable. Toyota is very reliable. That's kind of where I rolled into you with that. I wanted to pair up on that. But going from Colorado to where there's all Tacomas and 4Runners to here where there's a fuck ton of Tacomas in Hawaii.
Yeah.
There's just a shit ton. And I just, again, I have that stigma now where it's like these Tacoma dudes, I'll be doing 70. I'll put it in cruise control in the STI. I'll be driving to work in the fast lane, just no one's around me. And of course, here comes this Tacoma wheeling up on my ass, zipping around me. And I hate it. I don't want to say I hate them. I just hate lifted Tacomas. I think the Tacoma is a great truck, but I don't think it's a truck that I would lift or do anything crazy to. And that's very controversial because I know a lot of people would lift Tacomas and 4Runners.
I like a taco, man.
One of those Overlander style builds, and I get it, but personally for me, I don't find a really big interest in them. I feel like it's been soiled for me because of this stigma around the people that own them.
Didn't Marty McFly have a black Tacoma before they called it the Tacoma?
No, he didn't.
What did he have?
I know what he had. I wanted to buy it. Actually, I was looking at a website the other day of this company who does replicas of that. They take the truck, but they put all the add-ons. What was Marty Mc? I want to say GMC Fly's truck. Maybe it wasn't Tacoma. Oh, yeah. So yeah, it was. Yeah, so it was a 1985 SR5 extra cab, and that's
a Toyota.
Yep. So it's a Toyota pickup truck, and at the time, its base price started at $6,600 on the low end to the top tier with all the options to $11,000.
Oof.
And it was a Tacoma.
That's a lot of money back in the day.
It was. That was the SR5, and if I want to say that was the 4-cylinder. So 1985 SR5 engine.
So that's basically the predecessor to what Tacoma is, though, right?
Okay, yeah. So basically, this is exactly what I thought. His SR5 Tacoma, if you will, his Toyota, had one of the most iconic engines that a lot of people still use, which is the 22R. And it was a 2.2 liter 4-cylinder that is a very sought after 4-cylinder for rock climbing vehicles. A lot of people put them in their Tacomas. They'll do swaps of those two 22Rs in anything.
Torquey, isn't it?
Well, they did. Yeah. Actually, for a 4-cylinder, it was. So you're looking at 135 horsepower. Not a lot for 1985.
Sure.
But 173 foot-pounds of torque out of a 4-cylinder.
It's pretty good.
For 80. Yeah, dude. For 85. And people love those engines. And they've been told to just run hundreds of thousands of miles. They are so reliable. And that's a very sought-after engine.
Yeah, that'd be nice to get your hands on one of those.
Oh, yeah.
Well, let me go ahead and give you my number one most hated vehicle.
Cool, because I still got mine. Hit me with it.
Are you ready for this?
I'm ready.
So here's the deal on this one. I'm going to get no disagreement out of you. I'm sure of it. You hate it too. Maybe you didn't put it number one. Maybe you forgot to add it to your list, but you also hate this vehicle.
Do I? Look at this. If I do this, it means I agree with you. Watch me.
Disgusting.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Your tits are disgusting. Tell me.
My most hated vehicle is the Hummer H2.
You know, I watched a review on that the other day.
What do you have to say for yourself?
Pretty much everything about it was undesirable.
Yeah.
You got no view. You got shitty gas mileage.
Yeah.
You really got no space on the interior. None of it.
It was expensive as hell back then.
Expensive as hell. None of it was enjoyable. It was almost like what would you call what's it not like when people are rich and they want to buy something?
Yeah, just flexing.
A flex.
Yeah.
It was a flex. No, nobody wants an H2. And if you do, you're retarded.
And you put the spinners on it and the chrome rims.
God, the 22s. No, dude, it's disgusting. I hate the Hummer, and I agree with you too. I hate it. I think it's stupid, and I have no interest in ever owning one or driving one. You know,
No.
I've gotten the opportunity to drive some, the older Hummers, the one that were more military style.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
And those really aren't the same, though, are they?
They're not. Actually, I feel like was it the H1? Let me Google it real quick. I feel like it was the Hummer H1. That was the one that looked kind of like the things the military guys use.
Well, now I got to look it up. I need to see the Hummer H.
It looks like, if you look up Hummer H1, I'm looking at a side by side of what the military has here.
Oh, that does look like a military Hummer.
It looks like a military Hummer, and then it's gross. Now they kind of look cool when like you upgrade the fuck out of them and stuff like that, but nothing that I'd be like interested in having.
But the 2, man,
The 2 was a little more
obnoxious.
modern. They added a little bit to it, but still just looked stupid. You're paying for bad gas mileage. You're paying for, hey, look at me, I'm a douchebag. You're paying for no aerodynamics whatsoever, loud road noise, no comfort, no creature comforts. The only thing that I did see, though, that the Hummer H2 has when I was watching this review is have you ever, Justin, been in a car where like it's a 4-door car, and you know how the windows will have the buttons that if you just click them, like my Subaru has it, you just click it and they all go down automatically?
Sure.
Well, everyone could put down their windows and stuff like that, but the Hummer had a button where you click it once and it would bring all 4 windows up at the same time.
Oh, okay.
It would reset them all. And that's kind of cool, but that's not what you're going to sell me on for the Hummer H2.
No, and I think reliability was an issue too. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I feel like
I think they had a diesel and a gas job, didn't they?
I don't think they had a diesel option.
Well, I'm just looking here. You go to the Hummer H3, right? It doesn't look any better.
The H3, I think, was just a little bit smaller.
It does look a little smaller. It doesn't look any better.
No, that's more your mid-size SUV.
Yeah, I don't like. But what I do like, Justin, I don't know if you've ever been in one of these, but I had the opportunity to ride inside one of these vehicles, and this isn't a bonus. This might be a little bit of bonus car.
Bonus car.
But the Jeep Commander, are you aware of it?
I'm very aware of the Jeep Commander.
The Jeep Commander, I liked it. I had a buddy, Kakakulis, who is super gorgeous, and his mother had one. And it was kind of lifted. It was black, kind of lifted, all leather interior. It had the Hemi in it. And it was actually a super nice Jeep. And I was interested in it for a while, but it almost looks like it takes some Cherokee aspects from it.
Oh, definitely did.
It takes some Jeep Liberty. It's almost like a mix of all of them.
Pretty sure they're discontinued now.
They are. But I watched their 4-wheel drive system and stuff like that, some videos on that. And apparently like they're super good. And, I didn't hate it. I didn't hate it at all. So now we'll go to my last one before we take a break here. Any Honda Civic. Anyone.
I can get down with that.
Anyone. Any Honda Civic, I hate it. I hate it.
And I see why that is for you too, because you're a Subaru guy. You got your STI. You had a WRX. I think you had a Forester at one point. So of course, it's automatically like they'll take your Subaru keys away if you don't hate Civics.
I get that. Here's the thing for me and Hondas. I actually grew up on Hondas. When growing up, I had a buddy, Chris Odell, and he was big into the Honda game, and I had the opportunity to go hang out with him a lot. We hung out all the time. We go to this shitty garage where we had a torpedo heater heating the place, doing engine swaps, transmission swaps. And if I knew what I knew now, then I would have been a god. But first of all, here's Honda. It's cheap power. And maybe these are some benefits, right? Cheap power.
Yeah.
They have a certain demographic that buys them. There's a certain dude you need to be like, yeah, I'm a Honda guy. I'm a B series guy, a D series guy. I'm a K series guy. I'm an H series guy. I'm an H to B guy. I am whatever engine series of the Honda game has. I'm about it. The Del Sol, love it, but that's not a Civic.
The Del Sol.
The Del Sol wasn't cool. Just sliding rear view, sliding fucking
T-top, wasn't it?
Huh? No, I believe the top actually came all the way down. There was something weird about the Del Sol.
Yeah.
Any Honda Civic, hate it.
I mean, if you want to get one for like a little economical commuter car, that's probably all right.
Yeah, a commuter car, I agree with that, but they're too easy. It's like taking the easy way out, right? It's like you get the easiest car to work on and then you put some bolt-ons for it because and here's my other opinion about it, they're like Legos. You can buy whatever you want for the Civic. You can buy any eBay turbo kit, put it on there and make some good power and spin your tires through, fifth gear, whatever the fuck you want to do. And I just don't like that. I don't like how easy it is. I think it's a cheap way out. I think you're lacking skills to be able to work on those and not bashing on the people who set world records that like make all-wheel drive Civics, or they do a CRV drivetrain into their Civics, or they make these crazy fast front-wheel drive.
You mentioned that CRV drivetrain swap. Because I was talking to Mick Deese the other day.
Yeah,
he guest on our show, and he was talking to a third person who has a Type R about the drivetrain swap that you can do. Drivetrain swap you can do to make your Civic all-wheel drive, and the other guy, I guess, didn't think that was even close to possible.
So I said Honda Civic for a reason, and the reason I said Honda Civic is because I had the opportunity to own a 2001 Honda CRV. It was a 5-speed standard all-wheel drive. It had a B series 2.0 liter engine, so a 2-liter 4-cylinder. A very good 4-cylinder. Had decent power for a 4-cylinder. But what impressed me most about that CRV was its like weight distribution was perfect, and its all-wheel drive system was amazing.
Yeah,
they utilized at the time a system called real-time all-wheel drive. So when you look at it, because I grew up in New York and it was very snowy. I remember coming out of my my driveway one day, and I give it a little bit of gas, and my CRV kind of like cuts and goes into a ditch like this. So I'm like kind of like looking down into a ditch, and I'm like, well, I'm like 2 feet outside of my house, and I'm gonna have to call a tow truck to get me out. I put it in reverse, and this car just pulled itself right out of there.
That's impressive.
It was so impressive. It was actually incredibly impressive. Well,
that's the thing about these Hondas, man. I mean, it's hard to find fault with them mechanically and reliability wise. Yes, those things are all true.
And they'll run forever.
Yeah.
I just feel like when it comes from like a car guy to a car guy, I feel like if I can do what I can on some of the engines that I've worked on, I feel like if I was to go to a Civic or a Honda, the sky's the limit. I could probably make some really great Honda engines and build some really great engines.
Sure.
But I got to tell you again, I really don't want to, fall on back on this. But that Honda CRV, man, when I had that, first of all, it came with a table in the back, a picnic table. And
you like all them weird features, like on the Aztec.
I know, I do really love all those weird. I think it's cool. It's niche. It's fun. And, it came with a picnic table. It came with that B Series 2.0 liter. I sold it for like $2,000, and it had 245,000 miles on it. Not a tick, not a talk, not a knock, nothing. Sounded amazing. Just a daily maintenance, a timing belt, cylinder head, valve adjustment, just basic stuff that you need to do when it comes to a 240,000 mile car.
Sure.
And it was amazing. I loved it. And that's why I say the Civic, man, is just because I think it's I think it's a cop out. But I also think, and I'm contradicting myself here, I feel like there's a niche for it, and I feel like it's a good, cheap, fun car.
I agree. Well, all right, guys. So that's been like 40 minutes straight of talk on cars, and then we can just do that, and that's fine. But you heard our most hated cars. We got everything from some Civics on there, Tacomas, Cumminses, Aztecs. We're looking for those emails. Go ahead, somebody. First guy that lets us know what's up with that Mustang sequel
I got
vehicle.
Merchandise right there. I'll send out to you guys.
Yeah, Mustang sequel vehicle. Whatever that is.
Yes.
Let's take a break. We need to hear about it.
Out.
You'll get some swag. Hit us up at ingearpodcast@gmail.com, or just comment on the YouTube video, whatever you like. We look forward to hearing from you. We're going to take a break and come back.
Love you. Hey guys, and you're back. I'm Toledo Jones. That's Jebediah. And Justin, first off, I have to say that we just ordered quite a little bit of merchandise for that little giveaway we have in the first episode.
Dude, we're doing a giveaway, and it might be a regular thing now.
It might be a regular thing. Here's the thing.
I'm ready.
We ordered some stuff, some in-gear merch. So we're not joking. You guys give us a comment, answer some of those questions, and I think it might be, like you said, a regular thing that we kind of do like one of those little tiny little snippets, like, hey, if you have an answer that we don't have, hit us up. Just that sort of interaction style, stuff we want to do. And I think we have, I'm talking for you and me, we have kind of like a slightly larger giveaway in the works that we'd like to do. I know we've talked about giveaways when we reached 100 followers and stuff like that.
Right.
But I'd like to give away something in the meantime, just because I think it'd be fun and just to like reward people that are out there listening to us and like, having a good time enjoying our show.
Of course. But of course, if you're listening now, there's more than likely going to be something when we get to 100. So if you help us get there, if you tell your friends to subscribe, you are getting us to 100. And if you're a subscriber now, you're automatically entered into the drawing that we're going to do for whatever the mysterious item is. I think you'll like it, though.
It ain't cheap.
It ain't cheap.
It ain't cheap.
It ain't cheap.
But we're going to do it because we love everybody.
Well, that's mostly weird you said that you love everybody, because there's one note on my notepad on the laptop right here.
Continue.
It reads, Tom loves cocks.
Oh, that's so funny. That's so weird, because I'm reading a note right here and it says,
you can't just type it right now. It already has to be ready. Penis. No.
Yeah.
That's not the same.
Yeah,
mine was ready to go.
So here's the thing. I have a little story about me. And are you aware? Do you remember AOL Instant Messenger?
Yes.
So as a young kid, I had just been on the MySpace kind of genre time frame and the whole AOL Instant Messenger thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Of course.
So I remember meeting this girl on MySpace. She was somewhat local to my area in a town called Monticello. She was a little heavier, but had these like fat, saggy boobs. And she was fat and she had this giant cheeks. But she, at the time, as a young kid, she was the only person that would send me these nudes. So I was infatuated with, like, oh my God, I got saggy basketball tits. I'm all for it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I remember logging on because my parents had dial-up and stuff like that. And it's fine. That's just how it was. You had dial-up. And I remember going on to the fucking AOL Instant Messenger. And I'm hanging out one night, probably coming up on like, as a young kid, probably like 11 p.m., 12, 1 a.m., coming around that time frame. And I'm messaging this girl that I met on MySpace. And I'm chilling with her, beep, 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 beep. Oh my God, baby, you're so great. And we wound up getting a little heated. And we, I start, my wandering hand, winds up traveling a little, ways down south. And I'm sitting there like, oh God, this is getting heated. I'm interested. So I'm sending her stuff that I think at the time was hot.
Yeah, you were in love.
Yeah, and she thought it was hot too. Like, I'm sending things that are like, fuck, man. I'm sending things that are like, hey, don't take birth control. I'm going to get you pregnant. I want to put my I wasn't suave at all. So I was like, let me put my pee inside of a JJ and I will put juices inside of you and we have kids. Like, very like,
wow, dude, you're
very
delightful.
rudimental, very like, what would you say?
Retarded?
Retarded.
Yeah.
Very retarded, very foreign, just very stupid. I acted like a complete idiot.
Cool.
So like, I'm typing this girl all this stuff like that. And I remember going to sleep. And then I wake up, I go to school, nothing happened. I come home and my dad comes home from work. And he's like, hey, dude, like, what the fuck? I'm like,
now, hold on a second. I already see where this is going. But let me go ahead and paint the picture of what this looks like in my mind.
I'm interested.
So your dad is standing in the doorway and you're there in fear, obviously, because your dad is a gruff man. He's like 6'9".
Yeah, huge.
Obviously jacked. He's got denim jeans on, no shirt, suspenders.
No shirt, suspenders, and
sweat
a little bit of
dripping off his body.
Yep.
And he's got the belt.
Yeah, he's ready. He's ready.
So what happens then?
So also look at this. You see this?
Dude, how can you mix that with your whiskey?
It's a gummy worm, dude.
Yeah, exactly. How can you mix gummy worms with whiskey?
Here's the thing. I go through the thing. I come home from school. I think my mom like screams at some point and she's like, oh my God, how dare he do this? Control your son, whatever the fuck, right?
Right.
So I'm like, all right, whatever. So I'm chilling there. And my dad comes up to me, he's like, I feel like he bursts open the door at this point. He's like, yo, what the hell are you looking up on my computer? And I'm like, it was his computer, you know?
Hmm.
And he's like, what are you looking at on my computer? I'm like, I don't know, dude. Like, whatever. Probably something not appropriate, whatever, you know? And he goes, hey, I just happened to get a glance at your AOL instant messenger messages that you sent to this female.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Super nice. Nice.
That's
yeah.
exactly what you want, is for people to read your dirty messages.
And he comes to me, dude. And I don't think my father has never like laid a hand on me. He's never hit me or anything like that. You know, God bless him. Mostly because I was pretty much larger than my father a good majority of my life. And
But
which
he
is
gives you the belt right across the face.
I was hoping he would. That would have been better than the embarrassment I would have had to deal with. I was hoping he deserves to get, you know, like, hey, Dad, if you're listening, you should have gave me a belt or two.
Yeah, right across the face.
Right across the face. So here's what happened. He comes in the doorway and he's like, yo, the hell are you doing on my computer? I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, yeah, I just happened to stumble upon your like AOL instant messenger. I'm like, okay.
You
And
know
he's
what
like,
he should have done is just come up to you, man, and just really dot those I's and maybe cross a couple T's.
how would that have helped me?
You know what? It's not always about helping you. Okay?
Yeah. I'm crazy. So here's what happens. And he goes, hey, I saw these messages you sent to this girl. And I have to say, he said something along the lines of, it was like I was watching a porn. He said something along like to shame me. It was like, what are you, a porn star? What do you like? How disgusting are you? You know, how dare you do this in my house? And he's referring to these messages about me telling this girl at the time, like, hey, I'm going to do penis stuff and get you pregnant.
Wow. Penis guy, huh?
And it was so embarrassing as a young kid having to have my father come in there and be like, hey, I just saw your deepest, dirtiest secrets. And this now I know. And
Yeah,
like,
and then that wasn't it from that point forward. He had supervised masturbations with you
supervised masturbation
to make sure the
Yeah.
chamber was empty at all times.
He had to know that I had no more rounds in the chamber. He had to know that I was fully pleasured.
Exactly.
He had to know. So I wasn't out there looking up dirty things. And if you look at some of our old episodes, you'll kind of like see I give you guys a little glimpse into what it's like to watch porn on dial-up. And it's an exhilarating experience. Exhilarating. So, you know, he comes in there and he's like, oh my God, my son, my blood, my son, oh my God.
My wave.
You're fucking porn starring it up with this fat chick. And I don't think he knew she was fat, but like, it's probably safe to assume she knew she was fat.
Did she share pictures of herself? Because he had to have seen them, right?
No, he's not a pedophile.
Oh, okay. So he goes and finds you sexting as a child, and seeing what the fuck you're up to and observing that would make him the pedophile.
No. Yes. No. I don't know the right answer to that. So he comes in. He probably smacks me a few, which probably didn't hurt that much. And he smacks me a few. And he goes, hey, you don't get to do that. And so time goes on, and maybe I'm calling him out a little bit here, but I think this is the time to do it.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure he appreciates it.
I'm sure he appreciates this. So I remember, like, you know, going on with life and being like, oh my God, I'm this sexless weirdo. All I do is sext women. I'm a freak and I should chop my penis off with an axe.
Yeah.
I don't deserve
We've all
this
been
thing.
there.
Yeah, you've been there, right?
I think probably.
And I'm sitting there and he goes, I remember for just curiosity, because my dad is not like, your average Joe. He's a pretty chill, dope dude, right?
Right.
And he's like,
Well, he was a lumberjack during the war.
he
Wasn't
was a lumberjack, probably during like the Civil War or something like that.
Right. Civil War lumberjack.
Civil War lumberjack dad, right? And he hits me up and he goes, hey, what's up, son? And I was like, hey, Dad, I love you. And he's like, I love you too, right? Oh, it was super great. So a few months, years go by, and I look up the history on, because I didn't know about like search history back in the day. That really wasn't a thing. I mean, it took you goddamn 20 minutes to load a search history on a dial-up connection. It wasn't like now where you can just click it and get it instantly. It was a hard, difficult task. I look up a search history, and I came to find out one of my dad's secret pleasures. Oh. Would you like to know?
You know what? If you don't share, then what are me and your dad going to talk about the next time I see him?
He had, I know I was not into this because we had very different tastes. He had search little fucking thingies, search bar things. And he was interested into like leather cat girls.
Hell yeah, he's into leather cat girls.
You're damn right he is. So he's into leather cat girls. And I think my sister brought it up to me. She's like, oh my God, I saw Dad's history. Look at this. And I was like, oh my God, no way. He's into leather cat girls. How crazy is that? Like, looking back on it, good for him. That's hot.
Yeah.
No one hates leather cat girls. I mean, Catwoman, for God's sakes, give me a break. So that happened.
And I thought you were going to tell me something terrible, like he's into like, girls pooping on each other or something.
I definitely watched 2 Girls, 1 Cup on dial-up. And I have to say, it was probably like, for a 5-minute video, it had to have been an hour and a half ordeal. It was not a quick, simple, like, oop, yep, this is how it is.
What do you mean it took you an hour and a half to watch a 5-minute
So first of all, I had to find the site, right? Let me take a swig real quick. You see me? You see what I'm doing?
Well, I think I can actually contribute to that. So I've seen 2 Girls, 1 Cup, and it's not like you just go to YouTube and pull it up. Like you have to go to a couple obscure sites to get 2 Girls, 1 Cup.
You gotta dig. You gotta dig. Which is how it is, right? So I dig. I find it. And there it is. And sure as shit, there's 2 women pooping into a cup.
Yeah.
And at that point, I'm seeing boob, I'm seeing everything like that. I'm like, ready to go. As embarrassing as it may seem.
No, I don't think that was sexually gratifying for me in the least bit.
Well, it's probably because you're used to like sledgehammers being slammed on your penis.
Well, you know what? How are we going to know if those sledgehammers work?
That's what I'm saying. So I dealt with that, the whole dial-up. My dad walked in on me and saw this whole stuff. And it was just, it was super embarrassing for me. And, I always remember sneaking into like, we had a playroom. And my dad always had this chest that had this like shitty little key that locked it. And that's where like I used to watch like, he had like bottles of cognac, Hennessy, wines, vodkas, whatever it may be. And he never really drank it at the time. And it had some shitty little key. And I want to say maybe he made this sort of like chest, maybe not. He's made some incredible pieces of artwork, out of wood. So who knows? And I remember like opening this up and finding these like old VHS tapes.
And then alongside that would be your father's gimp suit. Is that right?
Yes, I was right.
Full leather bondage suit that your dad would dress up in.
Yes,
and it's just like smothered in lube for some reason.
Because that's the way you have to put it on. You just have to like, squeeze it over, right?
Yeah.
So, that happened, whatever it did. And I want to find these VHS tapes. And all they were like movies that were like PG-13. And I don't know if you have the same opinion, but PG-13 back in the day is not what like PG-13 is now. Like PG-13 back in the day was much more erotic, and it could have been nudity, sexual than PG-13 is now today. I feel like when I see PG-13 movies today, it's like, it's a PG movie. That's what I've referred it to as, when I was younger. Like, is that a fair assumption to make, or am I like just crazy?
I have no idea, dude. I really don't. So I'm sure it's not what you wanted to hear. I'm sure you wanted me to go into depth on this whole thing, but I don't know.
Have you never seen a woman?
Have I seen a woman? I've seen 2 women.
Good. So here's the thing. I went to watch these movies. I had a great time. And, that's just what it was. Moral of the story is
I'm ready.
you have to delete your search history.
I guess that's what you need to do.
You have to delete it. And if there's anything I can leave our listeners with today, we had a great, let's just put it this way. Brief synopsis. We had a great first subject.
Yeah.
Hopefully people disagree with us. I would actually advise people to disagree with us. Send us emails. Let us know if we're like super shitty and all of our ideas are trash and you don't agree on any of our top 10 car hating comments.
Yeah.
Also, keep an eye out for in the first half that fucking question we got, because first person to answer it, I got the comments right here. First person to fucking answer that shit, you're getting some shit. So
yeah, you gotta do your homework though.
Do your homework, and we're gonna verify. I got the answer right here. We're gonna verify it, and also, fuck, man.
Delete your search history, man.
No, dude. It's like it's almost semi-erotic.
To have your search history exposed?
Yes. Here's the thing, Justin. Take us out. Drink your whiskey. Tell us how it is, and thank the viewers for being a part of this. Hey, listen. It's Thomas signing off. We had a great episode. We hope we had, could have some more car talk in the future. We love talking about it. That's not all we're about. We're definitely passionate about it. And keep an eye out for that fucking giveaway.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely listen back for that giveaway. If you made it this far and somehow missed it, go back and check it out. Answer our question. Be the first one. Get some free stuff. Pretty sure this will not be the last giveaway. If you missed it, though,
nope.
Tell your friends. We're trying to get to 100. There's going to be a little bit better giveaway when we get over to that direction.
Pretty damn good.
We really want to hear from you, though. ingearpodcast@gmail.com or leave a comment on the video itself.
Do it. Do it unless you're stupid. Do it.
We'll catch you next time.
See ya.